Hello and welcome to Youth Destiny Nucleus podcast, where young stars discuss young star issues, brainstorm, and try to provide solutions.
Good day, listeners. I'm Rejoice James from the Sexual Purity Unit, Youth Destiny Nucleus YDN, and I'm glad to be on board. I'm glad to have this privilege to speak today. So, we are going to be looking at the topic, the ripe age. Today we are going to be looking at the topic, the ripe age, and I'll be letting us know what this topic entails, what it's all about. So, the ripe age is basically the age where one becomes responsible enough to take up life responsibilities. That is basically what the ripe age entails. But in this context, we'll be looking at it from the romantic view, the romantic side. So we'll be talking about the ripe age to get into a romantic relationship. What is the right age, the ripe age that a youth should deem it fit to get into a romantic relationship? Okay. First of all, I want to establish a fact in our minds. I want us to know that there are many things attached to a romantic relationship. So I'm going to be explaining what a romantic relationship entails and is all about. You see, a romantic relationship is a relationship. It's one where two matured individuals come together and make a decision to know about each other, ideally with the intention of getting married and building a future together. So whenever a romantic relationship is heard, when you hear the word, you should know that this is ideally the purpose of every romantic relationship. Anything short of this is wrong. A romantic relationship is meant to have the future in view, and in most cases, marriage is what people have in view. Marriage is what people picture ahead. And I want to establish a fact that romantic relationship should not be explored by young people who have not yet found a sense of purpose, who do not yet know what exactly they want. A romantic relationship shouldn't be gotten into by just anyone. That is because it is a kind of relationship that requires two mature people, two mature adults of the opposite gender who have come together and decided that, okay, we are going to get into this relationship because I want us to build something beautiful, because I love you. I want us to build a beautiful home, a beautiful future, something that is, going to be substantial. It's not supposed to be something that you see two immature youngsters. For instance, like in this generation now, you see that a girl of 12, 13, 14, and even a boy of 14, 15, 16 is already in a relationship. Like, what exactly do you plan to achieve? You are still too young. What is the agenda behind that motive? What do you plan to offer? What do you have to offer? You're just too young. In fact, you need to have discovered yourself before thinking about adding yourself to someone else. So if you are still living under your parents' roof, you're still being fended for, you're still going to school where your school fees is being paid, you have no business with a romantic relationship. That's because you still have a long way to go. I'm talking to teenagers especially, because we see that in this generation, relationships like this have been abused. It is wrong. So you see, we have to establish this fact in the mind of the youth. You have to know that not everyone is meant to be in a romantic relationship at a particular stage. You get into it, but wait, there are many things you need to know, and you're going to get to know about it today. That's why we're talking about the ripe age to go into a romantic relationship. So we need to also even know why we need to get into a romantic relationship. Like, what exactly is the reason for people going into romantic relationship? Now we need to understand that man is a being that craves attention. Humans crave attention, they crave care, they crave love, they crave friendship, they crave joy, and a whole lot more. And since they crave all of these things, they tend to want to get all of it from something. And they strive to see that it comes to pass. They strive to see that they get all of these things to satisfy their needs, to satisfy their wants. And you see, a romantic relationship is one place that all of this can be gotten from. In an ideal romantic relationship, one is supposed to find compatibility, companionship, friendship, love, happiness, and joy, a lot more. So that's why you see that since this kind of relationship offers a platform to get such things that the human naturally craves for, people rush in there. And unfortunately, both those who are prepared and both as well as those who are unprepared, which is wrong. Yes, it's understandable that you crave all of those things, but you also have to understand that proper preparation will make you go there at the right time and get the right and desired results. When you get into a romantic relationship as a youngster who is still trying to get life together, who is still trying to build him or herself, trying to discover him or herself, you'll meet disappointment. That's because you are not yet mature enough to bear all of the things that come with romantic relationships. Romantic relationships need commitment and hard work for it to be able to work. It's not a bed of roses entirely. Of course, it's beautiful, but then there's a place of intentionality, commitment, and hard work. And the thing is, most of you do not even put this in mind when going into it. They're just concerned about the butterflies in the belly and the sweet feelings and all of that, forgetting that there's work on the ground. Work needs to be done on the ground for the whole thing to go smoothly. So you have to know that for you to launch into any romantic relationship, you have to be fully prepared. So quickly, I will let us know what's the requirement for getting into a romantic relationship. So what's the right time? When is the right time? When is the right time and the ripe time? I just want you to know that maturity is the very first thing that should be looked at. Maturity is very, very crucial. Even if God has promised you that, okay, this guy is your husband, God has told you that this person is your spouse. If you're not mature enough to handle that person, if you do not intentionally build yourself to a stage of maturity where you can be able to handle things, you'll see that it won't even work out for the both of you. You might end up losing a treasure because you are not yet matured enough to face and handle things and situations properly. So you have to be mature in various areas, various important and crucial areas. One of them is mental maturity. You have to be mentally mature. How you think do you still think like a child? Forget the fact that you might have a very big body build and all of that. It doesn't always matter. Your mental maturity is very crucial when getting into a romantic relationship. How do you think? How do you reason? How is your IQ? How do you see life? How do you see things? How do you view things? This is very important. You have to know if you are mentally mature to go into a romantic relationship. It is very, very important. We have emotional maturity as well. If you're not emotionally mature, you see that you behave childish in many ways. Are you the type that always cries, the type that loves to cry, and are you petty? You love to sleep over on issues. You love to create issues out of little things and all of that. You have to be smart enough to know if you are emotionally intelligent. What can you offer? What can you bring to the table? Are you the type that if a problem arises, instead of thinking logically, you start being emotional, start crying, giving up, and losing hope, losing heart. A romantic relationship is for the strong-hearted. You don't have to be weak. And then we also have the physical maturity. If you're not physically mature, there are disadvantages. Now, talking about physical maturity, I don't just mean age. In fact, if we were to talk about age, I won't have any particular age to talk about. That's because people differ. But I want you to know that teenagers, adolescents, and children are not allowed to get into a romantic relationship because they are not yet prepared for it. But when you're asking, okay, what's the right age? Is it 24, 23, 22, 29? What I have to say is that be mature. Someone can be 25 and not yet mature, and then someone who is just 21 or 22 is already mature, very mature. So people differ. So that's why most times you do not use age as a yardstick to measure one's maturity. And then medically, if you're not physically mature, your organs, your reproductive organs are not well developed, there are complications and disadvantages. For instance, in the north, you see that some very young teenagers, young girls are giving off in marriage, and then they end up having birth complications, they end up having VVF and all of these vaginal problems, which pose a threat to their lives. So you have to know that physical maturity is important. Your womb, your waist, your body has to be mature enough to carry a child. Since you have marriage in view, you should also have child bearing in mind, and all of that. You have to be physically strong and matured as well. And then we have the spiritual maturity. You have to be mature spiritually. There are some situations in your relationship that will require the intervention of the supernatural. And when you do not have any supernatural backing, you end up falling prey to the devil, because the devil does not like the institution of marriage which God created. So you need to have a very strong spiritual background, and you have to grow mature in the faith, because you need God in everything, including that relationship. You need Him to get into the relationship, and you need Him in the relationship as well to ensure that things go well. You have to be spiritually mature to discern, know when the devil is trying to come in and avoid his tricks. You also need to know that financial maturity is very important. If you're not financially mature, it's going to take a toll on your relationship. Finance is very important and crucial in relationships. Now you have to know that, okay, there are times you need to give to your partner beautiful items. There are times you need to just support your partner. There are times your partner will be in need. There are times, okay, even after getting married, finance is very crucial to run a home. You need finances to run a home, and that's the same way you need finance also to make a relationship, a romantic relationship, beautiful. Yes, sometimes you need to go out, both of you need to go out, and you can't just go out, for instance, to restaurants without finance. Sometimes you need to do things. Finance is very, very important. Some people get frustrated because of the lack of finances in their relationship. So the woman in question is supposed to have a financial background, a healthy financial background, and the male who is also going to be deemed worthy to be in a romantic relationship should also, to an extent, have a healthy financial background, because finance is very, very crucial in a relationship. So please, before you go into any relationship that is romantic, ensure that you have looked around, you've checked yourself, you've asked yourself, am I mature enough to get into a romantic relationship? Am I mature? Is everything in place? If you see that you've not been able to answer these questions, check yourself again and try to see that, okay, those things that you're not doing right, try to see how you do them right. Try to see how you grow, how you develop yourself, so you become mature in all of these areas. And when it's the right time, you discover that you're not going to give so much stress to the person who is going to end up being your partner, because you would have ended up developing yourself as you ought to. So remember that the ripe age is that age of maturity, when you get mature, when you're mature in all of these things I've called. I'm sure you have attained the ripe age. So please steer clear from any form of romantic relationship until you're ready, until you're stable and mature. Thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, so having heard all that has been said, I would say there are a lot of responsibilities tied to a romantic relationship. And then the age of full emotional maturity is the ripe age we are looking at here. So relationship is not for boys and girls. It's not a thing for kids. And the age is not a factor to overlook in this context. I have heard things like age is just a number, but not truly. It is fully important as well not to misplace responsibilities at every point of our lives, like taking that of adulthood into teenagehood and doing otherwise. You take every phase one step at a time. There are a lot of responsibilities tied to teenagehood, and a romantic relationship is not one of them. Not one of them. Even to the adults that would like to consider this phase, we should also know that we need to attain proper maturity physically, mentally, financially, and very importantly, spiritually too. And looking deep into what a romantic relationship is, or what a romantic relationship should be, I would say, beyond all the careless view we have about romantic relationships being that ship with loads of romance and sexual activities, I would say it is a huge space of courtship and commitment for two matured, very responsible and intentional people of the opposite sex. All these qualities I've mentioned are like on strict emphasis. This is a ground to explore your God-given talent, purpose, and assignment with your life partner or the partner you'll be choosing. This is a time of making your life partner, a time of making, like the process of making your life partner. It's just as simple as saying it's a time to be sure of who is going with you on this destination you are on, or on this path you've chosen for yourself. And then quickly, I would just like to look into a reason why I should, or anyone should, consider a romantic relationship. Then I'll say it is very, very simple and easy to think. Reasons I should consider a relationship is to feel loved, or to be loved, or to be with someone that truly understands me. And then the most funniest reason is to be happy. You can derive your happiness anywhere. You can be happy with things you do. You can be happy with just anybody. But that is not a major reason to consider a romantic relationship. And if it's for love, you can actually love any other thing. There's no way you will love better if you've not loved yourself first. So I'm just saying, love is not like a major reason to go into a romantic relationship. Even though you find love in it and you learn to love your partner or this chosen partner, but it is not the major reason to go into a romantic relationship. The reason why you should go into a romantic relationship is for a foreseeable future. Is for a future, for your future betterment. This stage is beyond the honeymoon phase. It is beyond all the lovey-dovey drama. This is time to work for your future. A stage to face all relationship problems head on, identifying and marking out all the red flags and making sure not to miss out on them. This is a time for serious searching, for serious commitment, serious screening, so you don't just go into this kind of relationship with just anybody. You carefully pick, carefully select who is going on this journey with you. It's not just a journey of days or months, but an eternal journey, a journey of forever. And forever is a very long time to start with. So you need to be very careful on your search. You carefully select. So now, considering how I can maintain my romantic relationship, or how can I maintain a romantic relationship in case I'm in one, then I would say to start with, you don't just carelessly go into a romantic relationship. You should start a romantic relationship with purpose. Be purpose driven, be purposeful about it, be intentional about it. Your God-given purpose should be exposed on this space fully. You should express yourself, find yourself. Don't get lost in it. You should find yourself. And then another thing you should consider is making God your priority. Put God first in your relationship. You shouldn't misplace Him. You place Him first, and then every other thing should follow suit. God first, and everything works better. Then communication is always key in a romantic relationship. You should learn to communicate daily. Every single time, communicate with your partner, communicate your likes, your dislikes. Be real to your partner. Open up to new things. Open up to honest conversations. Speak to your partner when things are getting out of hand. When you're just so disturbed about something, you should communicate. That is key to friendship. So you open up to your partner. And then I would think, and I would say, respecting your partner's personal space is also a very vital key for maintaining a romantic relationship. You shouldn't be so selfish. I know it's normal for couples to want to spend time together, quality time together, but you should also watch your partner grow better. Give them time and space to build up, to become that very person you want and that very person you want to spend your life with. Give them space to build themselves up. You should be selfless about it. Give them time to dedicate. They should dedicate into building and working on their self too. Then showing attention and appreciation is a beautiful thing. Be kind, be caring, and be passionate about your romantic relationship, about this phase of romantic relationship. And you should be passionate about it, and you should show love. I would just say, generally, a romantic relationship should expose and reveal the best version of you. Don't ever wave warning signals in this phase. This is a phase for warning signals. Don't wave it. Sit on it. Be concerned about it. Pray about it. Think about it, and then allow God do everything. Allow God lead you. Put Him first. That's me saying put God first in your relationship, because if you both can learn to love God together, then you beautifully and amazingly love each other without issues and without problems. So that's my take on this.